Hiya, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today I'm going to be doing a Cricut Explore project using my Design Space iPad app. And the other thing is that I want to do a print and cut image. Now, what I don't want to do though is do one of the pre-made print and cut images that the Cricut has got on the Design Space. So for example, one of the Cricut Imagine cuts, they're already pre-done with the pattern and the printing already there. What I want to do is just take a regular cut from just one of our normal cartridges and create my own print and cut image from that. So the first thing we need to do is go across to our app. So just slide across and open it up. Now you need to make sure that you're signed in when you're working, both on your Cricut app and on the Design Space on the computer. That's just so that the Design Space knows exactly what cartridges you own and don't own, and it makes it easier for you as well. And also when you come to cutting, you're going to need to be signed in anyway. The little person up in the corner here says it's got a little tick, so I know I'm signed in. So I'm just going to click on create a new project. Now I'd obviously been playing around on that last time I came in here, so it's just asking me whether I want to keep it or replace it with a blank mat. So I'm going to click replace, because if I'd wanted it I would have saved it anyway. So we want to add some images, so we're going to click on the add image button down there, and this will bring up every single image in the Explore library, but obviously you're not going to see them, you're going to have to scroll down to see them, but there's thousands, I mean it's 50,000 plus images, so we're going to narrow this down a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the filters button up here, and then I'm going to click on my images. There's lots of different types of way of filtering it, but that's the one I'm using now. And then when that's sorted into my images, I'm then going to go on to cartridges, because that's individual images. Now I know that I want to use the Live Simply cartridge, so I can either just scroll down like that and find it, or I can just type in here and then it brings up, I just typed in Live and it brought up my cartridge, and then I click on it and it's just, that's the filter there, Live Simply, so it's just going to bring up the whole of the Live Simply cartridge. So we're just going to have a little look. So what I think I wanted was what I saw just on the little bar there of the cartridge, which was this little fella here, but let's just, well, let's pop him in. You can click on it and it says they're purchased, so that's why I said it's quite good to know that you're logged in, because you know then it tells you which ones are purchased or not. And I rather like this frame, so I was just looking at that because I rather like the flower on it, so I'm going to add that in as well. And then I want to come and take my Live Simply filter off, and then when it's sorted itself out, I want to go to my images, and then I want to find a card. So just typed that in the search there. Here, so we've got a nice one here with rounded corners, so let's just add that. And then I'm going to click insert. So as you can see, it's kind of cute because it lines them, it kind of piles them all up on top of itself. So we're just going to move our little hedgehog and the frame to one side for the minute, and then we're going to adjust our card. Now one thing I would say before you start is just go down to your settings button down here and just check your smart guide isn't on. Personally, I find that really annoying. What happens with the smart guide, and that was off, is say I was putting my hedgehog on top of there, what would happen is that the line here would snap my hedgehog to the nearest grid line, so either top or bottom as I moved it, it would snap down or snap up or left or right to the nearest grid line, which means you can't position it precisely where you want it to be. Whereas what I want to do is be able to go wherever I want to put my hedgehog, I can put him. So I definitely would recommend putting that off because it's really annoying. Okay, the only other thing is that it does help when you're doing this. So if you want to do like turn this around, if you put it on, what you get is when you grab the corner here to twist it, can you see there's lines coming up there? 45 degrees, 90 degrees, or 180, whichever. This will be 180, I mean that's 45 again. So now that we know, because we had our Smart Guide on, that that is precisely horizontal. So now I'm going to go back to Smart Guide and turn it off so that when I'm working with the rest of it, it's not going to be a pain. So then I'm going to click on that and I'm going to do my measurements of my cards. So I want to set my card to be 7 inches by 5 inches. So our height is this measurement here. So that's going to be 10. And at the moment it's locked and the ratio is locked. So it's done it at 6.5 from top to bottom, but we actually want it to be 7. So I'm going to click on the little lock so it's open, and then I'm going to click the width to be 7. And it changed the width of our card. So it's now 7 by 5 once it's folded. So that's that there. Okay, so we just pop that down, and the next thing I want to do is I want to grab the layer on this card and I want to do action. So I've clicked on my image, I want to do action, and then over here is ungroup. So just click ungroup, and then my little layer is separate, so I can adjust it if I wanted to. But what I want to do is just get rid of it. Okay, the next thing I want to do is bring that to front. So action, and then arrange, we want to move to front. So that's moved our frame there to the front, in front of our card, so we can still see what's going on. And then I want this to be about 4.75, so I'm just going to do edit, and the height 4.75, but obviously it's too narrow, it's not wide enough, so we want to unlock it again like we did before. And then the width, we really need that to be 6.75, so let's see if that looks okay. I think that's going to be fine. So that looks great. So then we need to size our little hedgehog. So all we're doing at the moment is designing the card from the point of view of sizing. So then we're going to grab our hedgehog. Now he needs to be brought to the front again. So we're going to go to actions. We're on our hedgehog, the little boxes around him. So we're then going to arrange, move to front. And then we're going to bring him in front of our card there. So let's take that down to 3 now I've done the lock button. Okay, what I'm wanting to do is kind of sit him on the shelf of the frame there, which I think looks really cute, so I think that works well. So now what we want to do is our colours. So that's the next step, is our hedgehog. I want to do the colours on him. So let's have a look. So I've just brought up our layers here, that's just brought it up at the side there. And our hedgehog is here. So all I did was I picked on a layer on my hedgehog, so my hedgehog's there on that. So that's clicking the layers button down the bottom, just here. And then what I've done, that brings up this side panel, and then I've got my hedgehog here, and I've highlighted one layer, and there's a little arrow, and we're just going to click on that arrow and it brings that out. So then we're going to pick a colour, because this is the colours that are going to get printed. We're going to be printing our hedgehog and we're going to be printing our frame. I won't be, well, no, I probably won't print my card, because I think that would be a heck of a lot of ink. I'll probably do a white card base. Okay, so I just fiddled around a little bit more because I still wasn't quite happy with that, and so we've got a lavender fluffy hedgehog with the pink face and the darker pink on the corners, and I just think that brings all the lovely pastel shades in, so I'm happier with that now. Okay, so going back, we need to now create our hedgehog into one image. So we've got, at the moment, our hedgehog is four layers, so we need to create him into one layer with one cut line around the edge, and the rest of it will print out. So you've highlighted all 4 layers, so then we want to go to action, and then under the action here we've got flatten, and that basically takes all 4 layers and goes squash and flattens them into one layer. So we're just going to click flatten. I'm going to press it and hopefully we can see what happens up there. There we go. So it goes, can you see how it just went squashed down to one layer? And not only that, it's put a little print icon. So it's telling us that it is now a print and cut. And can you also see how it looks different on the screen there? Because it hasn't got the sort of different, you've got like dark lines in between, so they're not showing up. So then the next thing that we want to do is our frame with flower. So that's those, and it looks sort of weird when you see it like that because you haven't got any differentiation between the layers. So then all we need to do is click on our send to mat. So I've done that, and this little message came up which I didn't know about, so this is an interesting thing to find out. Your project contains print and cut images. It's not a feature available on the iPad, so you'll need to use your computer to complete the project. So basically what we're going to have to do, which is fine, it's not difficult, you could do exactly this if you were out and about and you were designing on your iPad. This is what you could do, whether it's for print and cut or just regular stuff. So all we're going to do now is we're going to save. So then we click the save button up the top here, and then we click save on there, and we're going to give this a name. And then you can see just across the top here, it now, instead of saying untitled, it's got the name of my project. Okay, so all we're going to do now then is I'm going to shut this down on here. I'm going to go over to my computer and open up Cricut Design Space and this project, and then we will click send. Okay, so we're over on my computer now, and we want to make sure we're first of all logged on, so I've already done that, and then we want to open the project with our little hedgehog that we did on our iPad. So we go to file at the top here, click on that, click on my projects, and then it's in order of saving, so the newest saved item is at the top, so it's nice and easy to find. So there it is, and we open it up, and there is our little hedgehog. It looks quite different on here, very pretty I think. Hopefully it turns out as nice as it looks on here. Okay, so now all we need to do is our print and cut. So the first thing we do is obviously we click on go, but it should direct us to do the printing first of all. Now I've got it at, yeah, that's correct, it's 8.5 by 11, which is great. So we're going to do print and go. So my paper's in my printer and my printer is connected, so hopefully it'll work because my printer can be a bit temperamental sometimes. So let's press print. Now I just need to change the size because it's a US letter for starters. I've set that, so we click OK. I need to set my printer to print from the back feed, so I'm just, yeah, there we go. So I'm just trying to find that, so we'll just do that rear tray, and then we click on print. And off it goes. So it's printing both this image and my hedgehog, so it's printing both elements at the same time, which is really helpful. It seems to have automatically set the paper size to be what was most likely to be a printer page size, so that's really good as well. So that's all going across. So now all I need to do is load this into the machine. So we're going to go across to my Cricut and pop all of this through. Okay, so we're at the Explore and we're just loading the mat. So I've printed out that, as you can see, it's come out really nicely. And then we're just going to pop it under the feed guides here and click. And then I've set it at card plus 1 dot, so it's nice. It's quite heavy cardstock. I've put my score tool in because I know I'm going to need that in due course and I don't want to forget to add it. And then it's flashing for me to click the cut button, so let's go. So it's just finding the registration marks that it printed. You can just see the light there. So it's just having a good look. Okay, so then it's cutting. There we go. So it had quite a bit of a time to think about it and a lot of a looking at the guide marks, but it seems to have gone through okay now. Okay, so I've unloaded my mat now. So we've got our first layer. God, this mat's sticky because it's hot. There we go. So there's our frame. Isn't that gorgeous? It's come up really nice. So I'm going to put that on the table ready for when we've got all the elements. So let's get the next layer, which is our hedgehog, which we, as I say, all printed at the same time, which is really helpful. Luckily I put the paper in. So then just unload it, and what you can see on here particularly compared to the other one even is where you've got the excess bleed lines, so you don't get a white edge on your cut. So that's really great, you know, you don't get that at all because you've got all that excess colour, and you can set that more or less. So there's our little hedgehog. So it's now waiting for the final mat, so we'll just get that done. Okay, so we've got our final mat, and this is our green for our card. So this is what the score tool will be for. Right, so here are our pieces all cut, well, printed and cut in these two cases, and I think they've turned out really nicely. And I mean, obviously your print quality will make a difference to how it prints and cuts. I've got a top feeding printer, which means I can print on card, and I think that makes a big difference. I think when you print on paper and then cut it out, I think it does tend to look, if you're not careful, it can tend to look a little cheap and not as nicely finished, whereas this looks like something you'd buy in the shop. It's got a really nice weight to it, so I think that's turned out really nicely. And then of course we've got our card base, which I didn't print, I just cut out. So we've got our score line down the back here, so we're just going to gently roll it till that line starts to come into play. There we go. And then we're going to find the two corners, put them together, get my score tool, and then just score along the back. So, oh, what a nice noise. Okay, so there is our card. And I love the little roundy corners. I think that sounds looks really nice on them. And obviously I could decorate the inside. You could print out another element. You could have even printed out another one of these and cut them out and had that for the inside, which would look really fun. And I may well do that, but for the purposes of what we're doing today, I'm just gonna, oh, stop making a lot of noise on my glass mat. I'm just gonna leave that blank, but I will decorate that in due course, I'm sure. So I'm gonna leave this flat and just pop it down like that. So I'm going to get my Cosmic Shimmer glue and just put this on the back. And this is nice and strong, so it's going to hold it in place. Lovely. Now you could put a ribbon around this if you wanted to. I just think at the moment it just looks lovely as it is, so I'm going to leave that alone. So then I'm just going to get my glue gel. So I've got my glue gel and I've got my little hedgehog here, and I've got some googly eyes. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue gel on the back of my googly eye here. So just popping that in position. So that's the front of our hedgehog done, and then I'm just going to bring my card back, and I'm going to take my hedgehog and I'm going to put some glue gel on the back. And as always, I'm putting plenty on. I want a bit of height, so I'm giving it some height, but I also do like to make sure that it's not going to collapse in the post, so there's enough on the that it supports it, because I just don't think it's very nice if it arrives in the post and it's all squashed, just because we haven't put enough glue on really. So I want to make sure that my little hedgehog's feet are looking as if he's standing on the frame here. So just lining that up like we had it in the on the design space. Okay, and then I want to put this little flower over the flower that we've got here, because I just thought it would be fun to have like a 3D flower on our card, like so. Don't worry about the glue gel coming through the centre, because I have got a little yellow button which I am going to put in the centre of our flower. So just, and it matches beautifully actually, and this is a basic grey button. So there we go, just pop that in the centre there, like so. And that look cute. And again, I like the fact that it's a button. It's kind of got a childlike quality to it, and I think that adds something, makes it, you know, the whole card have that kind of childlike feel to it, which I think is really nice. I think it's a cute young card. And what I wanted to do was put it in her hair, as it were, so just on top of her head there. So all I'm doing is just a little knot. Don't want anything fancy. There we go. I'm not doing it too tight. And then I'm just going to get the scissors and cut that off. There we go. And then we're just going to pop that on there like so. So again, just using my glue gel to pop it down. Just putting a little bob in there, and then just popping that in place like so. And I think that just looks so cute on the top of our little head like that. So I think the only thing I'd like to do is put a couple of gems. A little eye when you put it down goes weird. Is put a couple of gems in the corners here. So we'll just, I think gems, maybe some pearls actually, because the pearls are white and that kind of brings that white in, so that would probably work better. And there you go, there is our Cricut Live Simply print and cut hedgehog card. And isn't it cute? I think it's adorable. Well, she's adorable, you can't be that colour and be a good boy, surely. So I hope you've enjoyed making this card with me, and that you found it useful to know how to do the print and cut with your regular images. And I'd love to hear your comments as always, but otherwise for now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye! Bye! Bye!